What's up, everybody? It's me, Brandon Green, Gold Element Autoworks owner. All right, what do we have going on today? Well, I just pulled out the 2005 CL600. Well, there is an issue with it. See, this car is for sale. I have it on the market on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. It only has, I think, 95,000 miles on it. It's a very nice car. It still has ABC, the active body control suspension. It presents nice, looks nice, handles very nice. The issue, though, that I'm having with this car is that there is no boost. Now, this is a twin turbo V12, and well, they call it bi-turbo, twin turbo, same thing, no difference. And the issue with this vehicle is that it's not creating boost. So it drives more like a V8 than the expected V12 power. This thing is supposed to have 493 horsepower. 500 something foot-pounds of torque, but it doesn't feel that way. So why isn't this thing producing boost? That's what I have to figure out. Now, looking at the motor, it's a V12. It's a twin or bi-turbo V12. It's supposed to produce a whole lot of torque, a lot of power, but it's lacking. You can tell as soon as you accelerate that it has power, but it's not the power that it should have. There is no misfires. There's no check engine lights. There's nothing indicating that there's a problem. But there's a problem. And I have to figure out what it is. So I have a scanner, and I have to hook the scanner up and see if it is telling me or pointing me in the right direction. What in particular is not creating boost, or why isn't the boost reaching where it's supposed to go? The turbos, are they producing boost? I don't know. I got to figure that out. I can tell you right now. Driving this thing feels great, but it just doesn't have the power that it's supposed to have. Oh, that's my mom and dad, by the way, and that's me. My mom passed away a few years ago. My father's still alive. Cherish your loved ones, because nothing is promised. Anyways, let's see. All right. It feels great. It feels like a V8. It's smooth, but you just know that that power is not there. That thrust that you're supposed to get. I mean, this thing accelerates like a beast, but it's just not that V12 power that you're expecting. It's weird, man. I can't put my finger on it. See what as I'm flooring it, it feels good, but not powerful like it should. I mean, that throw yourself back power is not there. You're supposed to be getting thrown back in your seat. I know what the compressor feels like. I know what the supercharged V8 feels like. Well, this is supposed to be comparable with even more foot-pounds of torque, but it's not happening. So if you guys have any ideas as to why, let me know. I have this car on the market. I will put my scanner on it and try to figure it out. Firehouse. Okay, let's pull out the scanner. See, so it doesn't throw a check engine light, but I'm hooking up this scanner, and this is a very detailed scanner, and I'm going to find out what codes exist that just are not showing up. They could be an existing, like a stored fault code, or a current code. here goes the scanner, guys. This is pretty cool. Check it out. Now, this car was sitting in my neighbor's driveway for a few weeks, and I didn't start it. You're supposed to start these cars at least once a week so that the battery doesn't die. So this morning I did have to throw a jump box on the rear, a starter little box that I have because the battery died. Now this is a newer battery. I bought this battery probably just like 3 months ago, so you have to start them. It doesn't matter. These cars, these Mercedes are always doing something, even when they're not doing anything. There's always functions. These modules do not absolutely shut off. If nothing else, you have the alarm always active, but you do have different modules that receive signal, send signal, even when the car is turned off. So you have to definitely start these cars up. So some of these fault codes could be related to that dead battery having a low voltage. It could be just stored, not current, but I'll find out. One other issue I know that the car has is the probably the diaphragm inside, the little pneumatic, what do you call those? For the soft suction, they are leaking. Right, the soft shut door actuator, whatever that's called, definitely has leaked out or is leaking. Right, so it's not able to do the soft shut feature. That's why it's hissing. Anytime you have that hissing, that means that those do not work. And I think on that side it's also the same thing. So just over time, they crack, they break, they leak out. Sometimes just age. Sometimes people slam these doors. My CL600, the soft suction still works. Now, once they start hissing like that, it does draw extra current from your pump trying to compensate for the leak. So you might want to either address that or just make sure that you don't operate that. So when I close these doors, I close them. All right. Okay, so just as I assumed, it would be a lot of low voltage codes. Under voltage. So the front, let me see, the ABC has settled after about 2 weeks. So that's why that one is on. Up in the front right, it has settled down. See, all this stuff right here is just stuff related to it not having voltage or it being a dead battery. So I'm going to clear all this and get real time, a real time diagnosis. So I'm going to read the engine, just the engine itself, and see what I get after I do this. All right, so driving the vehicle, getting it back home, I decided to check the engine control module again and to see exactly what codes are coming up. And this is consistently coming up. I had some low voltage codes that came up just because the car had a dead battery. Cleared those, and this came up again. So these are the actual codes for the engine. Now this right here, the telematic, that right there is just a common one because your maybe your SOS, if it's not that, it's the communication of this right here. Those antennas are all in the trunk behind the back seat, and they're actually on the lid of the trunk, and that is no longer supported by Mercedes. That was communication constantly with a server, I guess, a Mercedes server, in case of emergencies, communication, a crash, things of that nature. You had an open line of communication with Mercedes, where Mercedes no longer supports that system anymore. So all the early 2000 models that have that system that has this right here, that no longer supported. You used to be able to hit this button and get information, or to contact help or support in case of an emergency or a mechanical breakdown. That no longer supported. So that code, or that fault code, is common amongst all early Mercedes. Has nothing to do with the functionality of the vehicle per se, the performance of the vehicle. That's just communication. Kind of like OnStar, like what GM offers. That's pretty much a good comparison. But this right here probably is the reason why I'm not getting the boost. Now, is there a sensor that's bad? What does this mean to you all? I'm going to do my research, but I wanted to present this to you all so that you can get an idea of what I'm dealing with, and I can diagnose it from here, you know? Okay, so these are the codes that I'm getting for my 2005 CL600. These are the codes that are showing up that are preventing the turbos or the boost from being produced. Don't know if it's a turbo, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a sensor, I don't know what it is. But look at these codes right here. This will give you a good indication of what it might be. So what should I do with this CL600, huh? This 2005. It's a very nice car. Right now it's lacking the boost. It idles so smooth that you can't even feel the car running. It's such a nice car. There's good power, but it feels more like a V8 than a V12. There's no check engine lights that come on. The brake light is only on because I have the parking brake depressed. So what is it? Well, if I look at this scanner here, I'm getting these codes right here, which point me in the right direction. Now I have to do my research. Go ahead and use Google, Siri, Alexa, whatever you use, and find out exactly what is going on here. These scanners are a must if you own a Mercedes. This is a launch scanner. It's a very high quality scanner. It tells me every circuit, every module. It indicates what I'm getting. It reads each circuit and it points me in the right direction. So you gotta have a scanner of some sort, a good quality scanner. And this right here is it. It's a nice touchscreen scanner. It has its own internal battery. It really is an asset to own. You gotta have something like this for your Mercedes. But yeah, I gotta figure out what these right here mean. Why this vehicle, this beautiful example of a CL600, is not producing boost. Once I figure that out, oh my goodness. Power, power, power. All right, so here goes the Bosch. This right here. They call it a map or a boost sensor or a pressure sensor or a temp sensor. This is used for different purposes, right? But in this case, it's used for the boost sensor. It regulates or it reads the pressure that is created. All right, so I'm replacing it with a good brand, removing this bootleg one. What happened was when I removed this to replace it, this right here had to come off. This bracket right here that holds it, I had to disconnect it, unplug it. There was a hose that feeds into that, and unfortunately the nipple on the sensor broke. So I replaced it, but not with the right one. So that's why I am installing this one now. Take a look at it with one hand. There we go. Also, I'm going to clean these air intakes because these sensors, if it's not receiving enough air, if these are clogged or dirty, then these sensors are going to also give a bad reading, which can also limit the power of this motor. So everything has to run efficiently. Everything, all the signals have to be on point. Most cars don't have all this going on, but the V12 does. Now look how bad these air filters are. These things are so caked with dirt and they're brittle. It's been years since this thing has been changed. These air intake filters are already degrading. Look how broken up this one is. And as you do this, it just keeps breaking. Like, this is what's coming and getting sucked into your engine. And this is what is probably causing blockage to those, to possibly the throttle body intake, the sensors, mass airflow sensor, all that stuff reads air intake. And any of this stuff, when you're dealing with turbo, can cause an issue. If you're not changing just simply your air filters, these things are very cheap. I bet you under 20, 30 bucks to replace. Like, why aren't you replacing these? So come on, guys, like, really pay attention to the maintenance of your vehicle. Don't just change the oil. Just don't put a new air freshener in there so that the inside of that mug smell like black ice. You know what I mean? Come on, guys. Air intake, simple maintenance. When you do an oil change, do an air filter, air intake filter, please. Because this right here can cause so many problems. You don't think it can, but it can. Especially with a turbo V12 Mercedes. Golly. Come on, guys. Do better. Something as simple as dirty air intake filters can cause so many problems for your car. It doesn't have to be a Mercedes, a V12, for it to cause problems. Now, in this case, these have not been changed in years. How do I know that? Because they're brittle. Look at that. They're just falling apart. And they're very dirty. I beat them out and just wanted to know what was coming out of here. And so much dirt and rocks and sand and just crap was just falling out of here. Indicative of these not being changed in years. So what's the problem with that? Well, something so simple, just $20 to $30 for these air intakes. Not changing those can cause your engine to starve. What I mean is starve for good air intake. Compare these to your lungs, you know. These filter out the dirt. There are parts of your lungs that are actually designed to filter out pollution and dirt, right? And so in the same way, these filter it out and allows your car's engine to breathe properly, to take in good air. There's sensors that regulate or that tells it how much good air is coming through. And so it's compromised. And so it can reduce power, right? When it doesn't have enough clean, fresh, flowing air. So this right here is a cheap fix. Change this when you change the oil, please. It compromises the whole engine performance combustion process. You need air, spark, and fuel. Come on, guys. Take care of your cars. This scanner, which is pretty cool, I'm able to grab the pressure sensors and look at the bars. Now this one being the lower one, let's take a look at it real time. If I give it throttle, you see what it does. It drops, goes up a little bit, drops. Make it idle without input, it stays pretty steady. around that 344, 345, 347 mark. So enough boost is not being produced, and I still have to figure out why. Let me see if I go back. I don't know. Gotta figure some things out here. All right, I am so confused with this car. Now, okay, a check engine light is on because a fault code came up. I already reset it. I'm not worried about that. All right, guys, so I'm confused now. This CL600 is driving with full power now. Okay, so after changing out that pressure sensor, I actually had somebody come by the house to take a look at the car. They were considering buying the CL600. And guess what? After driving like 2 or 3 minutes, it went into some weird limp mode, and the throttle body was given a fault, as if there was an issue with the throttle body, and it wouldn't go above 15, 20 miles per hour. It went into limp mode. A misfire took place. It was really jacked up. And I was really mad because it really messed up my sale. The person was prepared to buy it, and that happened. But now I pull out my other scanner. I park it. After restarting it, what it would do is it would be cool for about like 5-6 seconds, and then it would go back into that limp mode, and the idle would increase. It would hover around 1200, and it would have a misfire. And it would throw the same code regarding the throttle body. So I'm looking up information on the throttle body. I'm getting really upset, depressed. Like, come on, man. This CL600 is a curse, right? So probably after the third startup, all of a sudden, the car like smooths out. It still has a check engine light. I mean, matter of fact, when the throttle thing came on, the ESP also came along with it. ESP and the check engine light came on. Now I'm like, come on, man. I've never had this issue. The last 4 or 5 months that I've had the car, that was not an issue. All of a sudden, when somebody goes to try to test drive it, it comes up. You know how pissed I was? But now, everything is good. Matter of fact, everything is so good, it's driving better than it ever has before. That pressure sensor that I installed, did that throw everything off? Because now I have full power. This thing is crazy. Oh, God. So yeah, this thing throws me back in the seat. This thing has never driven this good before. And guess what? The potential buyer, he left thinking, I dodged a bullet. The CL600 is a problem. I don't want it. And I texted him and told him, hey, it's acting right again. It's idling, it's full power. I didn't tell him it's doing this though. I didn't tell him that I have full power like this. I just told him it was driving like it was before. It felt more like a V8 instead of a V12. It lacked that boost. But guess what? It's boosting. My boost is boosting. This is crazy. Now, I'm wondering, should I keep this joint? Because this thing is powerful right now. Or is it a tease? Is it just showing me what it could potentially do, but it's still problematic? Will there be another issue tomorrow? You know? Or am I in the clear now? Because this thing is driving fantastic. Full power. Full power. I have boost, guys. This thing is throwing me back in the seat now. Now it feels like a CL600 V12 twin turbo. Good Lord. I don't know what to do now. Should I call back the potential buyer and say, hey, it's driving better than it ever has before? Or should I hold on to it? You know I have some rims I could throw on here. I really don't know what to do now. Oh, God. This car is incredible. I had to make some decisions, guys. I had to make some decisions. Golly. And I have a car coming from out of town. I have two cars coming in tonight from out of town, from Oklahoma and from Alabama. I was looking forward to this car being sold so that I could have a little bit more space over here. But it doesn't look like that is going to happen, not tonight. And so I have to figure out now where to put all these cars because they're coming in tonight. One should be here by now. I don't know where it's at. And the other one is coming probably about 1 o'clock in the morning. This is crazy. Yeah, Oklahoma and Alabama. And now this car is driving good. I don't get it, man. This is just crazy. I mean, now I'm spinning tires, just throwing me around. I mean, throwing me back in the seat. Good Lord. This is what a V12 is supposed to feel like, huh? Goodness gracious. I am happy. Now I'm kind of happy I didn't sell it. Gosh. It's worth that much more now because it's operating fine, full power. Let me just figure out, man. Like, let me make sure this thing starts up tomorrow without any issue and drives just as well as it is now. The only thing that I did different was install that new pressure sensor. That might have been the problem, guys. That might have been the problem. And installing that, I guess it started to get some new readings and start throwing everything off. I don't know. Like, I really don't know. I never had that issue pop up with the throttle body. Like, that is insane. The code that I got for that, I'll include in this video. It really threw me off, man. Really threw me off. But it's driving better than it ever has since I've owned the car. And I don't get it. But yeah, all right, I have some decisions to make. What do I do? What do I do?